Well, good morning. Uh, kind of slept in today. Figured no hurry to go nowhere. Uh, it's right around 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. Uh, I'm in LaBelle, Florida. Uh, Small little town. But the good thing about this is that the docks are free. This here is an experimental rotary steam engine some guy put together and put it in a boat to see how she was going to run. I guess it's back in the days when steam engines is the only thing you had. And apparently he put this in a pretty good sized boat. There's a story, the whole story about it up front there. If you pause the film, you can go ahead and read up on it and see what he did and which boat it was that he put it in and what happened to the boat. But it's a very interesting little engine. Not little, it's a big engine, but it's a steam engine. Uh, don't know exactly how it runs or how it works, but I figured, well, it was there. I figured I'd take a picture of it or put it in the video and let somebody who wants to read up on that. Like I said, the whole story of it is right there in the beginning. Just pause the video and you can read it. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get ready to take off here shortly. I'm kind of like cleaning up the windows, wiping down the windows and all of that because they get pretty, they get salt spray or salt water all over the place. So every time I stop somewhere or it rains, I have problems, with the windows, having to clean them up and everything. So I did kind of, and I also screwed up the rub rail while I was in the at the last lock. So I fixed the rub rails. Uh, right now I've just started the engine and we're getting ready to go ahead and warm up the engine. And as soon as it does that, we will be untying and taking off. We plan to head down to Roland Martin's fish camp. They have a marina. They have rooms to rent out. They have a tiki bar and a restaurant, and plan to stay up there in the docks for the day. I'm having problems with the engine, so I've got a guy that's going to be coming up tomorrow morning and look at it for me real quick. It had just gotten serviced last week. I had the 300-hour service done on it, and it's starting to miss a little. So either they might have cracked a plug while they were putting it in, or these Evinrude E-Tech motors have to do have what they call indexing the spark plugs, which I'm not sure what exactly. I mean, I know how it's supposed to be done, but whether they did it or not, I don't know. So the guy's coming in tomorrow to look at the engine and see whether uh, something's wrong with it. Well, something is wrong because it is kind of missing a little bit. Uh, and I didn't get very good fuel mileage either. So that he's going to look at that also and see, whether I'm going to have to carry extra fuel or not. But here I've already untied and I'm getting ready to back out, and we'll be leaving LaBelle, heading for Roland Martin Marina, which is only about 37-38 miles away from here. I'll be traveling kind of slow. I'm low on fuel, so I don't want to be going full board and then end up using up all my fuel. So we're only traveling like half of the speed that I was doing the last 2 days. I was averaging about 14 to 15 miles an hour with the engine revving, RPMing right at about 3,500 RPM. This time I'm going to be running at 2,000 RPM, but it's going to cut my traveling distance in half. I'm only going to be traveling right at about 7 miles an hour. So it'll take me longer, but it'll save on fuel, so I'll make sure that I get there. That's why I'm not going to be traveling as fast. And not only that, but with that little mist that it's got on the motor, I don't want to rev it up too high. I'm just going to go ahead and take my time. No hurry. I got a whole year to do this thing, so I'm in no hurry to get anywhere in particular. I did hear that that Roland Martin Marina, which is Roland Martin was a famous fisherman or something like that. I know he had won a lot of awards and trophies and everything for being one of the best fishermen, I guess, in the circuit or everything. Well, apparently him and his wife have a marina here. Well, I don't know if they still have it. I don't know if he's even alive anymore. But I'm going to find out, I guess, what that marina is like. Most of the trip that I'm making now is basically just what you're seeing right now. Not a whole lot to see. It's just, a canal, basically, is what it is. And I'll be going through 2 locks, I think, and we'll see how those go. I did video record those also while I'm going through here. I did have an incident where there is a little spot on this canal here that gets pretty narrow. You have to make a turn into a different, bigger canal. So it goes from this big canal to a little canal and then back to the big canal. Well, while I was going through the smallest canal, which is not very wide, here comes this big old tugboat. Huge, very wide. One of these things that can pull barges all over the place. And I panicked and I didn't hit the record button, so I don't have it on film, but I wish I would have. He was pushing a very big wake, and I figured I need to get out of this guy's way, or he's gonna probably pick my boat up with his wake and set me on the bank, and then I'd really be in trouble. So luckily he slowed down when he saw me there, but I had to get out of his way, and I had to get close to the shoreline, and I ended up hitting bottom, and I hit a rock or something because it sounded awful. I went ahead and pushed my motor up, and as the motor was all the way out of the water, I happened to notice that I chipped my prop. Here's a 90 horse Evinrude I'm running, and it might look like I'm traveling fast, but I'm only doing 7 miles an hour compared to 14 miles an hour that I was doing the couple of days back. So this is kind of slow for me, but it does make it easier to handle the boat. I don't have to be on the steering wheel all day long. I can kind of get up and do something else, walk around the cabin, grab something to eat if I want. I did have some cheese dip and some chips earlier today, just to kind of snack on. And I also found out something interesting about the boat. It's not very wide. It's only 7.5 foot beam. And I noticed that I could actually control which way the boat is going by moving from one side to the other side. And it actually would go to the side that I would walk to. If I went to the left, the boat would go to the left. If I went to the right, the boat would go to the right. So all this time that I'm filming this right now, I'm actually walking back from one side to the next side and steering the boat that way. I thought that was pretty interesting. And like I said, it might look like I'm going fast, but I'm not going too fast. It's only 7 miles an hour, and that's kind of pretty slow. But compared to what I was doing 14 miles an hour the past 2 days. But as you can see, it's very easy to handle the boat just by walking to the right or to the left, and it actually steers the boat itself. The motor's been kind of missing a little, and even though I had just gotten it serviced last week before I left to do the loop, I have a funny feeling that the guys that did the 300-hour maintenance probably didn't index the spark plugs, which you have to do on a 90 horse E-Tech Evinrude motors. The spark plugs have to be indexed, which means that the point of the plug on the bottom where it sparks has to be pointing toward the coil, so that it will, I guess, give it a better fuel burn. Uh, I've kind of noticed that my fuel burn is not very good, so that might be the problem. Uh, when I get to the marina, I'm going to go ahead and call in and have them bring in a tech to look at it for me. Hey, I'm sure he probably went in the lock anyway, but I guess they figured out that if they go into the locks, they can get to the other side. So it's that little old saying, you know, why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. Well, so this gator's probably wanting to do the same thing, wanting to get to the other side. And he knows, I guess he's learned that he can go into these locks and go from one side to the other side. I've even seen dolphins in the lock here while we were coming up. So even dolphins and manatees will come through the locks so that they can get to the other side. You know, one of those, you know, why did the chicken cross the road type thing to get to the other side? Except he got hit by a car, and he was dinner, fried chicken. Anyway, here you can see the water's rising. I cut off some of the video because it's a long time. It takes quite a while to fill this big bathtub up, and you can see the water line. When the water gets up to the water line, then it's already filled level with the other side of the channel, and then they start opening the gates more. They actually just open it, and then the water starts flowing in. So they don't open it very fast because they don't want, you know, have your boat bouncing all over the place, or you not be able to hold on to it while it's doing this. But as you can see, the gates are now starting to open, and as soon as the lock master tells you that it's okay to proceed, then we can go ahead and just move forward. And they have red light and green light, so whenever you have a green light, that means you can go ahead and start moving and move forward. Or you can go ahead and go into the lock. If there's a red light, you have to wait outside till they tell you to go ahead and come in. And basically you have ropes all along the wall here, and you hold on to the ropes while the water is coming in and the water is going out, so that way your boat doesn't bounce all over the place. I did put some fenders on this time, because last time I went through one of these, I forgot to put fenders out, and I hit my rub rail on the boat, and I popped out some of it toward the back. I did fix it while I was at La Belle. I went ahead and I was able to stick it back in the rub rail, and this time I went ahead and put out two fenders by the seawall this time, so that way, instead of the boat rubbing against the wall, now it's rubbing against the fenders. The problem is the rear fender that I put out, I didn't tie it very good, so somehow I end up losing it. That was a brand new fender too. So now I'm down to one fender. So I'm gonna have to find me another fender now. I didn't realize I had lost it until after I took off, and I was quite a ways out of the lock here, and I remembered, oh, I got my fenders out, I need to bring them in. And when I went to go get them, the front one was still there, but the rear one was gone. So that's just another thing you learn while you're doing boating, I guess. Next time, now you know, make sure you tie down your fenders very good, or I didn't do it very well, I guess, and I end up losing it. But I'm still, because it's only a 22 footer, I'm still able to work with one fender for right now. Not as good as it would with two. I wish I had two of them, but it worked okay with just one fender anyway. But here I am, go ahead and they've given me the green light to go ahead and leave the lock here. And you can see right in front of me, there's another boat that wants to come into the lock, and he's traveling in a different direction. I'm traveling east, he's traveling west. So now they're gonna leave the gate open so he can come in, and then they close the back gate, and when they open the front gate, that's actually going to drain the lock down to the level of the other side of that river, so that he can go ahead and go out. So, and as you can see, he's a little bit bigger boat than I am. So as soon as I'm clear and I can get out of the way, I will be obviously not going to play chicken with this guy. I'm just going to move out of the way and let him go ahead and go into his locks. The bigger the boat, the harder it is to control when you're coming in and out of small spaces and stuff. So you want to have some kind of courtesy and give the guy, as much leeway as you can. I can easily move my boat, one way or the other. For him to do it, it's a little bit harder because his is a bigger boat, and he might not have as good a control as I do with mine. As you can see, it doesn't take a whole lot for me to get out of his way, which is what I did. Just got out of his way and let him come in. And then shortly after this, I went ahead and took off again, picked up speed again, but again, only did 7 miles an hour. I traveled 5.5 hours and only made 37 miles today. I was able to make it to the Roland marina, which is where I wanted to be able to put some fuel on the boat. I was running low on fuel, so I wasn't sure that I was going to make it, but I did. So while I was there, I went ahead and got a hold of a mechanic to come talk to him on the phone to see about see why my engine is not running right. He also mentioned that he's got a laptop, I guess, or something that he can hook up to it and kind of give me an idea of what kind of range I'm supposed to be getting with the boat. The other thing about it is, I need to have a minimum of 150 mile range of fuel. If I can't do that, then I'm going to be running out of fuel and not be able to make from one marina to the next marina and pick up fuel. So he said he could go ahead and look at it, and I'm only carrying basically about 2 18-gallon tanks. So I might have to buy some spare cans and carry them with me, so that I have enough fuel to make it. And if you look at it, it looks like I'm traveling very fast, but it's actually very slow. It's only 7 miles compared to 14 miles that I was doing yesterday and the day before. But I only, out of 2 full tanks, I only got 134 miles using up both tanks. So that's not enough miles. I need to figure a way to get 150 miles with 2 full tanks. So I've lowered the RPMs. Now I'm running, instead of running 3,500 RPMs, I'm running right at 2,000 RPMs. But it cut my speed in half. But it also saving me on fuel. Now, when I got here, I was hoping there was going to be a fuel dock somewhere where I could pick up some fuel, because I was already running low when I left LaBelle, and I kept thinking, well, there's got to be somewhere to pick up fuel. So I got here to this place here, and it's a small little marina, and there was a lady outside washing her boat, and I asked her, I said, is there any fuel docks here? And she said, no. But there's a couple marinas ahead that you can pick up fuel. Well, I went through all the way to the next lock, and I didn't see no other marinas. So I don't know whether she even knew what she was talking about, but I couldn't find any other marinas that had fuel in this little town here. So I had to keep going. This is Moore Haven, I think, where this place is. So the next town is Clewiston, and that's where Roland Marina is. So I figured, well, I ain't got much of a choice. I have to leave anyway. I can't just tie up. Although I do have a U.S. boat. If I do run out of fuel, I can contact them, let them know I'm out of fuel, and instead of coming and picking me up and towing me somewhere, they'll just bring fuel with them, and they won't. I mean, I have to buy the fuel, but anyway, they'll bring me fuel at no charge because I'm a member of U.S. Boat, uh, which is a pretty good idea to be a member of. I do have a kicker motor, a small little kicker motor that I could also probably use and see how far that would take me, but I'm not sure how far I can go on that. It's only a 2.5 horsepower motor, so I'm not sure how fast and how long I can run with that. It's not a very big gas tank either, but if I have to, I guess I could use it if need be. But here we are, just taking off, and we're leaving Moorhaven now and heading to Clewiston. Now, total mileage that I ran from LaBelle to Clewiston is, like I said, only 37 miles. Doesn't seem very far, but when you're only traveling 7 miles an hour, that's 5.5 hours. 5 hours, basically, it took me to get there, to go 37 miles. Good thing is I didn't run out of fuel. I made it. Now here we are coming into another lock, and as you can see, I'm kind of like stopped right here, kind of just going around in circles. They don't have the red light is on, so I'm not allowed to go in toward the lock until you get a green light. Either that or they'll get on channel 13 here in Florida and let you know that, okay, it'll be 15-20 minutes before they open up, or how long. Normally they'll tell you how long it's going to be before they'll open up the lock for you to come in. In this case, they didn't wait very long. They went ahead and gave me the green light, and I just started to go in. Didn't even talk to anyone on channel 13. They just, as soon as you see the green light, that means, okay, you can go ahead and start moving forward. And you can also see the gates are opening up. So it takes it, quite a while to get in and out of these locks, because you can't go very fast, for one, and you definitely don't want to be banging into the wall when you're coming in. So just take your time, have some patience, and you will eventually make it. As you can see now, they just gave me the green light, so I'm moving forward now and getting ready to go into the lock. They're pretty interesting locks. These, so far, I've only gone through one lock that's only about 4 or 5 feet in water changes, but I know there's, I think, 3 other more locks that I have to go through to get to Stuart, Florida. One of those locks, it drops, if I'm correct, I think it drops almost 10 to 15 feet. So that one would be kind of interesting to see what happens. But I mean, I don't expect anything seriously bad to happen, but I guess when they open up the gates, when they open the gate up and they let you in, it's no big deal, because you're leveled with the lock itself. The water level is the same. It's when they open the other side that you either lose water or you gain water. They either fill the bathtub up or they drain the bathtub. That's the way I look at it. So on this case here, when you're heading east, you're basically going up and up. So as soon as we get into the lock, you'll be able to see that there is a water line, and you'll be able to see where that water line is. That shows you how high the water is going to come up. As I said, it's kind of a slow process, because you have to watch out and make sure you don't run your boat into the walls or anything like that. So just take your time, and you can see the ropes hanging there on the wall. What you do is you go up to one of them ropes and you hold on to the rope while the water's coming in or going out. in this case, you can see the water line, so you can see the water is going to come up to the dark area down there. And so what you do is you bring your boat up along the wall, and you hold on to one of those lines that they got hanging there. That line is basically to keep your boat from moving all over the place. One, keeping it going backwards and you hitting the back doors or the back locks that are back there. Once you've secured your boat, they will go ahead and open up the gate in front of you, and then water will start coming in. As you can see, I think no, they haven't started opening up the front gates, but as soon as they do that, you'll notice that water will start pouring in. And it's all gravity fed locks, one place is higher than the other, so it's able to open and close either the front or the back, and that's how you get the water to level. It looks like there they go. They're opening it up right now, and you should be able to see some water start coming in. And that water is what fills it, what I call filling up the tub. It's going to fill it up to where it's even with the water on the other side, and then that allows you, they can open the gate completely, and then you can come out. As you can see, there's some water already coming in as they opened up the gate a little bit. They don't open up the gate all the way, because then that'd be too much water coming in, and you could maybe not be able to hold on to your boat, and you could damage the boat or tear out a cleat on the boat because they rushed the water and they came flooding in. So they open it just a little bit till the water equalizes itself with the other side, and then they'll go ahead and open up the gates all the way so that you can come out. And again, you just sit here and wait. They will either come out and tell you go ahead, take off, or they'll put the green light on, letting you know that it's safe now to go ahead and take off. Sometimes these locks, like on the weekends, get pretty full. You'll have 2 or 3 boats in here, 4 boats. They can put them on both sides, on the left side and the right side. It just really depends. But I've been lucky. I've been the only boat coming in so far, so I don't have to worry about other boaters and where they're at, or how far do I have to go forward or anything. I can just basically pick any line I want and hold on to it, and then I'll be ready to go. Water's almost level. As you can see here, they should be opening up the gates all the way so that I can go ahead and take off. I think this is the last lock I have to go through before I get to the Roland Martin fish camp or resort, what they call it. They have rooms there if you want to stay in a room there, like a hotel room. They also have docks where you can tie up at the dock, and I think it's $1. I think he told me there was $1.75 per foot. So it was mine came out to $38 to tie up at night for the night. But that's because I also got a discount because I was a U.S. boat member. So I did get a discount, so I paid $1.50 per foot. End up paying like $38 or something like that to stay tied up at the night. But that also includes, hooking up water, so if you want to wash down your boat, you can spray it down. Also includes electricity, so you can hook up to electricity. I hooked up to the electricity so that I could go ahead and charge my batteries back up, even though my alternator has charged them. This kind of helps top them off, since I'll be plugged into power all night. So it should charge my batteries completely full again. Also, if I decide if it gets too hot, I can also run the air conditioner off of the power and not worry about draining my batteries. I do have an inverter that I can run to run my air conditioner. As you can see now, the water's equalized and they're starting to open up the gates now. And like I said, as soon as the guy either will step out of that area up there at the top where he's normally at, because he can see everything going on, he'll either step out and tell you to come on, you can take off now, or he'll go ahead and switch the light to green, meaning, hey, you can go ahead and take off now. And basically you just let go of the line, push yourself away from the wall, slowly put it in gear and move forward. Sometimes they'll just get on channel 13 and tell you, okay, go ahead and take off. So everybody's different, I guess. It doesn't matter, but as long as you get it done. So I don't think they even need to open it up all the way, because I'm not that big of a boat coming in. So I would imagine they're probably not going to open it all the way. They're just going to go ahead and open it enough that I can go through it. But they still haven't given me the green light yet, so gotta wait. No big deal. We can wait. Now here comes the guy. He just stepped out of that little place up there, and he's waving me to go ahead and go on through. So I basically just push myself away from the wall, and now I can go ahead and take off. Now you still got to take off pretty slow. You can't go very fast when you're going in and out of these places, mainly because they just don't allow you to go fast. You have to go to what they call idle speed. You also have to have a jacket on when you go, a life vest. Anytime you go into a lock, you have to have a life vest on. I always carry mine on all the time anyway, just for safety reasons. It's one of the inflatable ones, so it's not heavy, it's not awkward, and it's pretty lightweight. So I don't. It's not like I'm sweating all the time with it. And I also have a pair of gloves that I put on. Some of these lines, that are stuck in the water, might have slime and algae build up on the lines and stuff like that. So you don't want to hold on to them with your bare hands. You normally have a pair of gloves that you take with you so that you can hold on to these lines. Now, as you can see, I've gone and go ahead and going out now. So this should be my last lock for the day. Here I am. I finally made it to the marina. You can see this boat came in first, and I was right behind him. And that's the tiki bar up there. There's a bar with a tiki bar. Plus, it's also a restaurant. That's where I'm going to grab something to eat. I'm right here by the fuel pumps, and I've gone ahead and put fuel already in. And now I'm going to just walk around and let you see what's up here. But it's actually a very nice marina. They have showers. I was able to take a shower and have a new set of change of clothes after 2 days of not running into a shower somewhere. It sure felt good. And also the other good thing about it was that shower had a nozzle that it was spraying. It looked like it was one of those massage nozzles, and I actually stayed there a little bit longer just trying. It felt like I was getting a massage on my back, and boy, did that feel pretty good. But anyway, that's another story for a different time. I'm tied up here, and I'll be here overnight. Tomorrow morning, hopefully the mechanic will be in pretty early so that I can go ahead and take off again.